everyone. It's JF here with the JFree906 podcast, and we're doing the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch series tonight. Seth Bridges sitting in the co-host chair. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good, Jeff. Howdy, everybody. Happy to be here.
Man, you were just, hopefully things are okay. It doesn't sound like I hear the hail coming down at the moment. Are you all right?
Yeah. We weathered the hailstorm, and I'll go check after we're done with this and see what everything looks like.
Thank God for Texas, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, I did I kind of refurbed an old intro video there, and I got the Lego Oak Island that has created. They have created a new Lego set for the Skinwalker Ranch crew, and I thought it's really cool because. I was just going to display it. Now I don't know what I did with it. All right. It's like, where did I put it? It's gone now. It's completely gone. But it's really cool because it has every single one of the guys and gal from Skinwalker Ranch. So I thought it was pretty cool. Oh man, where did I put it? I know.
Yeah, those Lego figures are the best.
They are. They're so cool. I I kind of missed the whole Lego thing when I was growing up, but yeah, it's just my son. A couple of my boys were really into them. And so I just think they're cool personally.
Oh yeah, I feel like Brandon would probably like it too.
yeah, he sure would. And that's the thing with Brandon. And I got to say this because there are people. Here it is. I just found it. I get every now and then I get a message in the comments to the YouTube channel going, why do you keep, stop advertising or stop being a commercial for the insiders? And my answer to that is no. Because I talk about the things that I like. And I will not advertise anything that I don't like. If somebody came to me and say, "Hey, we'll give you $1 million if you'll talk about Dr. Pepper," and I'm like, "No."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I pay for cable to watch Oak Island. I pay to be part of the insiders, and I get great information, and I like talking about it too.
Exactly. I love being an insider, and I'm going to talk about it because it is part of Skinwalker Ranch. Whether you like it or not, it's part of it. And so check this out. All right, I found the picture right here. This is the Legos, the Skinwalker Ranch Legos, and of course you got Caleb over here, okay, and you got Thomas and Dragon, of course. Look at that face. Look at that face. You got Eric Bard, Travis,
the hair.
Jim, Kandus, and Tom back here in the back, and of course Brandon right there.
That looks like Brandon.
Awesome. Yeah. So Lego Oak Island. Yeah, Lego Oak Island made those. And now Lego Oak Island originally started doing these with Oak Island, of course, and now has graduated over to Skinwalker Ranch as well. So yeah, pretty cool. I just think they're so cool. I personally like them. So anyway, but I tell you what, in talking with Brandon, they were on the show, of course, the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch episode number 2 was on Tuesday night at 10 o'clock. And then on Thursday nights in the Insiders, they have their revelations and they go through the episode and give us a more in-depth look at it to the Insiders. And last night, Brandon was again on fire about some stuff. That I may bring up a little bit of it, but I tell you, it was he's very passionate about this whole thing, what he's doing out here, and the money that he puts into this, and the you can just hear the passion in his voice when he's talking about this stuff.
You hear the word stewardship a lot. Yes. He takes it seriously.
Yes, he really does, absolutely. And so it's. I confess I canceled my insider account. They can talk way over my head. Yeah. So, yeah.
Me too.
It's true. Yeah. Especially when Professor Bard gets going. Professor Bard can, but he's pretty good about keeping it down to where a person like me can understand for the most part. But some of the folks in the, last night it went like 3 hours last night. It was, I had to go to bed. I had to get out of there early because it was getting late, and they were just answering question after question after question. And I found, there was 400 people watching last night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do record it for those of you like me that missed it. And,
so have to catch up with it later.
Yeah. But I saw on Discord, people were talking about how long it went. I was like, oh, okay. I gotta take the time to watch it as soon as they post it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It really is, because they really go through and they tell you about things that you did not see on the show, on the episode. Some of the behind the stuff, and I might touch on a little bit of that tonight as we go along here. But really good stuff. And one thing too, and I put that little, if you watch the intro just now, I know not everybody watches it, but if you happen to watch the intro that I just put up a few minutes ago, you will see a little clip I have in there for one of my favorite all-time movies, The Time Machine. I like the old one and the newer one they did. I like them both. The old one is really cool. That was done years ago. And I like it. And I'll tell you why I put that in there a little later. I'll bring that up.
Ooh,
and we also have because there was something that was brought up in the Insider last night.
Oh,
that is the key why I put that in there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And also tonight we have a giveaway again. We've got some people that have been donating things to us. We do have a giveaway for tonight, and we'll have Linda will come out and do the spin on this. Now, to enter into this giveaway, you must be a member of our Facebook group, which is the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond and Skinwalker Ranch. And you can find it on Facebook. There is actually a link for it down below in the description. And tonight, and what you'll do is Linda will put up a picture of what the item is going to be for the giveaway. And then you have to be in that Facebook group and you comment on that post and you put in yes is all you got to do. That yes will then get you entered into this giveaway. And then she'll do the spinner here in a little bit. And then here is tonight's giveaway. This is a magnet, and it's one of the little logos that I like to use for a lot of different stuff. I love that thing. But that is what is the giveaway. Kind of similar to I've got some magnets now too. Here, let me. I'll be giving some of these away as we go along. But yeah, it's the logo JFree906 podcast magnets. So I've got some of these that I'll be giving away. And if you want to help support the show, while we're on that topic, I have a Patreon channel. It's patreon.com, and it's patreon.com. And then JFree906 out there if you want to help support the show. And the patrons I have out there, I appreciate very, very much because it does help to cover the cost of doing this whole thing. So then there's also some travel mugs, or I call them travel mugs. They're called tumblers, I guess you can buy. And the link for that is down below. And if you want to become a insider, there's a link down there for that too. You click on that link, it'll take you out there. It is a paid program. You get like 10 days for free, and then you can decide if you want to continue it and all of that. And it sucks you right in when you do.
And your tumblers are made by another star of the Beyond Oak Island, right?
Yes, thank you. Yes, Jess Grollo and her husband Mike. Jess she does all the. Oh, you know what? I don't have one here to show. Anyway, you can see it. It's down in the description. But the tumblers, yes, thank you. Jess Grollo makes those. She does she buys the tumblers and then she does the laser engraving on them. And that is blue6laser.com. And Jess, and there's a link down there below for that as well. So you can check that out. Kate, oh my gosh, Kate, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. I will support your show. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. All right. So last Tuesday's show, season number 4, episode number 2, Who's Your Data? You know what? And these, Seth, I gotta tell you, I am really impressed. The guys alluded to us all winter long in the Insider program, telling us how cool this season, or how good this season was going to be. And now we're two episodes in and they have not let us down. What did you think about it? Just off the top, what did you think about the episode?
I kind of told you before we started that I feel like both these episodes are of the caliber that if they were a season ending episode, I would be pretty happy with it. Super impressed. It's one of those episodes that I thought a lot, or the more time that passed, the more I thought about it and the more I was impressed by what we saw happen. And and I really understand why they call it Who's Your Data. I don't know if there's any TNG Trek fans, but I just pictured Data from Star Trek. But yeah, but Who's Your Data? So many data points that they were able to collect with those drone malfunctions and anomalies. So I'm excited. It keeps getting better and better and better. And I wasn't there for you, like you said, them hinting at it, but when I do see them getting to talk about these episodes, you can see the excitement that they're finally able to like share what they experienced.
Yeah, and Caleb said last night, one of the things he said in the revelations last night was that his favorite episode, he thinks it's the one coming up next week.
Ooh, I'm excited.
One that he was looking forward to because of what happens on it. He mentioned that last night, and he said, "Yeah, it's coming up." He goes, "I think it's next week." So
well, if it excites Caleb, he's got an eye. He seems to see things. So I'm excited.
He does. Yes, he does. All right. So so I was really I'm really pumped about this season, and we get 14 episodes, so that's really cool too. Really happy about that as well. So, all right, let me get my pictures rolling here. All right, we're starting off, of course, Skinwalker Ranch. It is a program. If you don't know what it is, it's on the History Channel. I'm sure everybody that's here knows exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Laughs out loud, I was referring to Data in Time's Arrow just last night. Time shirt.
Out of phase, not visible.
Mm-hmm. Here's the team showing up now. Right off the bat, we're looking at those drones are so very cool, Bass. I mean, we got a little clip to show too about these things. That Seth shared earlier. This is really cool. But here's the team. They're showing up out at Skinwalker Ranch to do their thing. And I grabbed some of these pictures because honestly, you know me and my pictures about some of these really cool. This is just a beautiful shot right there. I just love it. Yeah, it really is. And this one too. I mean, I'm sorry, folks. I know these aren't relevant. They are relevant, but I mean, just that picture's just awesome right there.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't help but to capture it.
These are the kind of views you get from the insiders.
The cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To bring it up again.
Yeah. But here's the team. Now, this is the team from Sky Elements showing up out at the ranch and meeting all the guys. And we had a couple of names. They didn't give everybody's name because there were so many of them. They need so many of them to get all this done. But we got Preston Ward, Tyler Johnson, and Kyle Pivnik out there. And came out to, those are like the main guys. And then they had a lot of other people there. Of course, like I said, they didn't name everyone. But we also had this gentleman standing right here on the far side, which is Mr. Pete Kelsey. And Pete Kelsey was with us last week on the show with Seth and I. And he really gave us a really good look at inside information about him being up in that helicopter and doing his LiDAR scans that he was doing with the SLAM scanner.
I think so.
Yeah. Now he was a little, and what prompted this whole thing, according to what they were talking about, was that Pete was a little worried that his LiDAR scanner did not get completely accurate data. He was a little concerned about that, and that's why he wanted to take it to the next step. And I thought this was a perfect next step. Sky Elements will be using their drones to scan the triangle and the east field to try to get more data. Who's your data? And the team, and try to get the team some more answers. When the Sky Elements admits that they know very little about the ranch, which I thought was kind of funny, because a lot of people, they talked about this too. A lot of people come out to the ranch who really don't have a full understanding of what's going on out there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe none at all. Thank you, Wendy. Wendy said she loves my pictures. Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that. And it was funny because, and they kind of mentioned this last night a little bit, you know, they're talking to these guys and Pete tells them, and you see the look on Pete's face right there. And he's explaining to these guys, I've lost 3 drones. And Pete knows what he's doing. You know that as well as I do.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing this a long time. Pete knows what he's doing. And for him, and he tells these guys, hey, I've lost 3 drones out here. And they're like, yeah, well, you know, we've done this hundreds of times. You know, we got it down. We know what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Not to take away, they are professionals. And I'm not trying to say they aren't, or I'm not trying to say they're arrogant, but they know what they're doing. They are professionals. And you talked about this earlier about how many different, you know, they've done a lot of different types of this display show that they do.
Yeah, hundreds of them, he said up to 1,000 shows. What I saw online was anywhere from 300 to 600 drones. So the 200 they're flying on the ranch is a low number for them from what I saw.
Which is good, really. You think about that, it's kind of a good thing. But so they said, okay, let me read this here. It says, Eric asked Sky Elements about what they do, and Preston tells the team that they use 100 to 200 drones or even 1,000 drones to make a synchronized swarm, they call it, that will produce images in the area of the data and that the drones will receive. Now, they are going to launch them from 2 points. As I mentioned, they're going to launch them from the triangle. You all know where the triangle is, and then the east field. And I think I've got a picture of that as well. Here's a little close-up of the guys. Now, the triangle, you know where that is. The east field is actually a little bit east of the triangle area, further down the mesa to the east. That east field is where that anomaly from the photogrammetry was, that tower-looking anomaly showed up. That's where that is, down there in the east field, or was, or, you know, that's where the anomaly was captured. So those are the 2 spots. Now, while they're doing this, Pete Kelsey, there's the triangle area. Now, while they're doing this, they're putting 4 up. Now, all of them, I think you had mentioned this, and I didn't know about this right off the bat, but I guess there is, there's Wi-Fi and also GPS data on every single one, right?
Each one has its own GPS, Wi-Fi. He said an RF. This is where it gets beyond me, an RF something. But yeah, it's each one has its own GPS system. So it's the 4 that they put on the corners, if I understand correctly, was the ranch putting their own on it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. And here's just some of them stacked up. I mean, I had to grab this picture because I was just like, look at these things, man. They're so cool.
Yeah.
Really, really neat. And there they are, laying them out on the ground, getting them all set up and getting them all batteries and everything in them. There's a little close-up shot. And I grabbed, this is one of the GPS units that Eric Bard, they are taping onto the unit, and that's one of the units that he created. And he builds these things himself. I mean, that's Professor Bard for you. He actually makes these little GPS units himself. He solders them all together. Hey, Miriam, how you doing? Yeah, he puts these all together himself. So he's taping it on there and getting ready to do his thing. And while this is going on, Pete Kelsey is out there once again, and Pete is going to be doing a scan, which is he called the terrestrial laser scanner, which is going to track them and everything else that's going on in the area while it's happening. We'll get to that a little bit. I'd like to see, what did she say? I'd like to see the drone sheet tested away from.
Yeah, they kind of, their YouTube has a lot of stuff that displays what these things are capable of. A lot more impressive than a sheet.
Yeah.
Going up.
Yeah, that's interesting. But and they didn't do it away from the anomaly areas on the ranch, but they have done it, like he was saying, 1,000 times elsewhere, and we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. So, yeah, so they wanted to have, Pete wanted to do the terrestrial laser scanner, which will give them data, give the team data on Sky Element's every movement. The terrestrial scanner will emit an infrared laser light that will create a detailed map of the area and should help identify anomalies, if any of them happen. right? That cannot be seen with the naked eye. During the experiment, Travis will also launch rockets. Now, somebody asked me, why are they launching rockets? What's the whole idea? That we know as poking the hornet's
nest.
Yeah, they're poking the hornet's nest because they want to create something, kick it up a notch, get some kind of thing to happen. That's why they do the rockets. Because some people, like I said, some people are asking, what's with the rockets? Why do they keep doing that? Yeah, that's exactly why. This is the unit that Pete is setting up, the Faro Focus, to do the laser scanning. And what it'll do is it kind of sweeps back and forth, and it's scanning everything in its path. And that means rocks and boulders, the mesa, the drones, people, anything in its path, it's going to be scanning. So, Ron, dude, thank you so much. Boo. Wow. Thank you, Ron. So that's what's really cool about that. All right. So let's jump over. I'm going to take us to a different spot real quick. We're going to cover a little bit of what the other folks were doing out there. And Kandus, Tom, and Jim. Now, if you remember from the very first episode, Kandus, Ron, and Jim went out to I will, Linda. Here in just a minute. Kandus, Tom, and Jim went out, and Brandon kind of gave them the job of going out and talking to locals. Now, as we've talked about before, we know that the anomalies that are happening, or the UAPs that are in the sky, all of that stuff is not confined to the fence of Skinwalker Ranch. It's happening in the entire Uintah Basin area. The indigenous peoples, the Navajo and the Utes, have been there for ages and ages and ages, way before us, white folks or whatever. And so they have history with all of this stuff going back ages and ages, like I said. So why not go to them and ask them, the local people? Not all of them are of the Ute and the Navajo tribes, but go and talk to the locals. Find out what they know, what they've seen. Now, they kind of mentioned that, they may not want to. Some people may not want to come forward.
That's fine.
Exactly. I mean, the stigma that's been surrounding the whole thing with, talking about UFOs or whatever, the stigma for many, many years. But now that's kind of lessened up. That's kind of eased up now. I mean, don't you think so too? I mean, I think it has.
Yeah, I think so. And then there's times where I worry, but overall the trend seems to be towards the laughing seems to be getting dimmer. More people are taking it seriously. Yeah, I mean, you can't deny when the people who are looking into this are those 3-letter agencies, but anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, even we had the report that came out that we now find out that Mr. Travis Taylor was actually probably part of the release of the information in 2021 from the UAP task force, saying, yeah, some of these are real and we don't know what they are.
Yeah, and he references his experience with the task force a lot. So
he mentioned it quite a bit.
Yeah.
So they go out here to 90.3 Native Voltage Radio, and they go out and they meet with this gentleman here, and this is Arrive. He's a DJ over there at the Native Voltage Radio, Rez Radio. That's him there. And they want to talk to this man just a little bit. And the reason why is because not only is he, a DJ and he can get the word out to folks, but he's had some experiences of his own, which are pretty phenomenal in itself. He is a Northern Ute, and he's lived in the area since he was a child. Now, one of the places he mentioned was Bottle Hollow Reservoir. Now, when I went to Phenomicon last year, and I was trying to figure out where campground I was going to stay at, Bottle Hollow Reservoir was one of the ones I was looking at. The reason I didn't pick it was because it was a little bit further. It's closer to the ranch, but further away from Vernal, where Phenomicon is taken. And I thought, well, you don't have to drive all that way. It's 30 minutes or whatever, 40 at the most, but it's not that far. But I thought I want to be real close to, Vernal. So I stayed up that way. But Bottle Hollow Reservoir, if you look it up online, and you can check it out in the campground and all that area, there's a lot of stuff out there about this place. And it's weird stuff, paranormal stuff.
Yeah, not just UAPs. I've read ghost stories about it. Things going in and out of the lake.
Yes. Skinwalker type sightings.
Yeah, and I mean, and if you're familiar with the UAP phenomena, I mean, they like water. A lot of people notice that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I remember looking into it when I first became aware of the ranch, and like a lot of you, I'm sure, go on Google Maps, and go, oh, what kind of weird stuff is in the bason? And that reservoir kind of
popped right up, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, could that connect under the mesa somehow? And my wheels are spinning looking at it.
Yeah, I was talking to Chris and we were talking about the fact that last year I stayed over in Vernal, and I thought, and I wanted to stay there again this year when I go back to Vernal, but I may go move and go park over there and stay in this campground if I can get in. It's pretty popular, but if I can get in there, I'd like to go stay and spend a couple weeks over there, just so I can go and do more investigations and stuff like that over there after Phenomecon's over. So we'll see. I might just move over there. Because I really want to experience it. I know I'll probably be scared to death, but I really want to, because you should see the case of equipment I have for all my paranormal and investigative tools and thermal imaging cameras and night vision cameras and trail cams. And I got quite the arsenal of the stuff. Anyway, all right. So Bottle Hollow Reservoir. So anyway, if you guys remember the story, you talk about the skinwalkers and where did all that come from? There was a lot of issue going on between the Navajo and the Ute tribes many years ago. And during that time, the Navajo cursed the Ute tribe, and they cursed them with the skinwalker. And the skinwalker was supposed to wreak havoc upon, I don't know all the details, so if I miss this a little bit, I'm sorry. But as far as I know, they're supposed to wreak havoc on the Ute tribe and just torment them. So that's where this whole thing began, the whole thing about the skinwalker in that area. That's where it all began because that's where the Utes were. In the skinwalker, as we know, is a human that can transform into an animal. Kandus asked Lloyd about pictures that he has taken at Bottle Hollow, and Lloyd shows them a couple of photographs. Kandus and Tom, real quick, I want to show them. They're ranch caretakers, and their, of course, is Jim Moore. And here's where Bottle Hollow Reservoir is located within next to Skinwalker Ranch. So as you can see, Skinwalker Ranch is here, and you see the whole mesa all along here, and up here is Bottle Hollow Reservoir up on top. So that's where the location is. So it's very close. It's not that, it's within reasonable distance of Skinwalker Ranch. So I'm going to turn something on here. I forgot to do, if I can find it now. I forgot to get my little pointer out. Get that thing started. All right. There we go. Now we got it. Yeah. So you see the distance isn't that far between the two. Let's see, I think I even got, there's a little close up of Bottle Hollow Reservoir. So an interesting area, and we'll get to see a little bit more about that as we go along. Jeff, someone should use a Connect camera on Homestead too. Never know what it might show up. You know what, Barbara? That's a fantastic idea. I love those things. When in the paranormal world, you see them coming out now using the Connect camera. And that was started with the Wii game set, a console started that, and it would track your movements. And if anyone doesn't know exactly what that is, Oh, really? Okay. Linda says I'm a mess. My internet is not the greatest, folks. I'm really sorry about that. I'm doing my best to try to hold it together here with everything. And it was raining and it's cloudy. So, but what that connects is it tracks your movements. So it knows when you're swinging a paddle or a bat or any kind of thing like that. You might know more about it than I do, Seth, but
I was going to ask you, is that where on the view screen it shows you like a stick figure where it's identifying the points of movement? So I have seen those, and it is really compelling and creepy.
Yeah, it really is. And why does it show if somebody's sitting at a table and then all of a sudden it shows a stick figure standing next to them when there's no person standing there? And then they say, raise your right arm, and it does. Raise your leg, and it does. And you're like, I don't know, pretty compelling. Anyway, but yeah, that would be interesting to see that in Homestead too, I think. Yeah, there you go. You're welcome, Brenda. I wanted to make sure I did that so everybody could kind of see where Bottle Hollow was in relation to the ranch. And like I said, you can see it's not that far away. Okay, and this was the UAP that Lloyd had captured.
So that's looking south towards the ranch.
Yeah. Yep.
I believe.
Yeah. And as I said, you can see it right there. And as they said on the show, it's very similar to the one, if you remember, there was the one that showed up. Remember when the cow died? And when the cow died, they were all, there was cameras looking out that way or whatever. And when they got into the control center or control room where I'm sitting right now, they found that Eric had captured a UAP that was over top of the cow while it was on the ground trying to get up and could not get up. And it moved so quickly, quite a distance in just a fraction of a second.
Yeah, I want to point out the fact that the UAP they caught on the ranch, that was due to extremely high-tech cameras, right? That they're able to go and catch it, like you said, because it was there for a split second, if I remember.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm so impressed that this man Lloyd was able to get a photograph this good of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I think that speaks to how long it was there.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, it really was. It was there long enough for him to be able to capture a really good picture of it.
And he had the wherewithal to get a picture of it. Most people don't, or they seem to get. Don't know why, but a lot of people don't.
It's that moment of awe, and I'm guilty of that myself.
Oh, but that would be me.
Oh my gosh, look at that! That's amazing. And then it's gone. You're like, oh, why didn't I get a picture of that?
Yeah, that'd be me.
I mean, we're all carrying a camera, right? So anyway, but yeah, he was able to get a photograph of this thing, and really cool. So, and they also asked him. I'm going to say this real quick too. This was on the 4th of July weekend. He created an event to play music for the holiday. When they were taking the equipment down, the lady asked if they would like to have some food, and they were headed down. He noticed the canopy and the dot above it and went back. It was moving back and forth. He headed towards Skinwalker Ranch, and then it disappeared. The object did not make any sound, so it was not a plane. It wasn't a helicopter or anything like that. Yes, I agree, Ron.
Y'all are too nice.
I agree. That's why he's back. So yeah, it didn't make any sound at all. Lloyd describes that the object was up there. It was just like up there. Kandus and Tom asked about the location and the time of day. Lloyd said it was near the lake, and it was Sunday afternoon. Lloyd tells them about the time that he and his nephew Isaac came to Bottle Hollow, and they saw a bright light in the same area.
Yeah, and this was after she asked him if he had any more, and he kind of let this one out. I don't know that he would have been forthcoming if not for Kandus asking.
Exactly.
I mean, Kandus and Tom, and I'm blanking on the
Jim.
Thank you. Yeah, they are the best people to send out into the community, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
From my view, but yeah,
especially Jim too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What stands out to me as someone who likes UAPs, UFOs, the water, the music, 4th of July. There's a lot of maybe ritualistic type of energy in the air.
Yep.
I think what an exciting capture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this thing's cool. You can see the canopy down here in the bottom. This
there's people just enjoying the holiday.
Yeah. And then there's this anomaly, UAP flying over top, checking out, hey, what are they doing down there?
This is why so many indigenous people, when you talk about these things, they go, oh yeah, I see them all the time. And the interviews that I've watched, a lot of them will say, very common.
Yeah. That's one of the things that becomes so important for them to go out and talk to the people in the area, because many of them are going to have stories, and they may have been very reluctant to talk about it, and now they are going to talk about it. Lloyd said about the second story, that after Kandus asked him, that after the object, he said first he flashed his headlights at it. He was flashing his lights at it. That was a cool thing to think to do, wasn't it? I mean,
I think it's brave. It's like, hey, here I am. But it's
come get me.
Yeah, but it's impressive. It seemed to respond. It flashed.
Yeah, back. And he said it flashed back. Kind of pulsed or whatever, and flashed back at him. And then after that, the object turned into a red glowing orb. So that was cool. And then, whoops, that's a picture of that. And then after that, he talked about, he went on the radio station, and he decided to go out and ask other tribal members or anyone listening if they want to talk about any experiences they have, to seek out and contact Skinwalker Ranch. Awesome. For him to go to that step and do that, I thought was really, really cool.
I thought so too. I felt like it was real brave of him to share his experiences. I thought it was extremely just really nice of him to extend that and go, I'll do it right now.
Yeah, I'll do it right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was awesome.
Was really cool.
Yeah. Yep. I thought that was really cool. And for me, that's something that I'm really interested in as well, too. I know during previous eras, it was really hard to figure out information about Skinwalker Ranch. So with Brandon being transparent, I think it's giving us an opportunity to hear the surroundings stories, too. I didn't know about a lot of these petroglyphs before, and I was a big history guy and, kind of ignorant of a lot of this.
There's more to come on those, too, from Skinwalker Ranch. So,
oh, boy.
Yeah, we haven't seen them all yet. And that's
cool.
Something they shared with. That's another one of those little things about being an insider. We got to see and hear about some of them that showed up not during filming season. It was after filming season. Pete was out there, and so that's yet to come. But they did, and again, that's one of those little things about being an insider that you hear about and get to see that the public hasn't seen. Anyway. So another good reason to check that out. So that's a good thing. So Lloyd was phenomenal. Glad to have his information. Now he's put that out. So let's see in the coming episodes, they're going to keep visiting other people out there, and we'll get to hear their stories. But this was awesome. I mean, he had a picture.
One of the clearest pictures I've ever seen. How many more pictures are out there? How many more videos of these things are out there?
Yep. Absolutely. All right. So let's take and have Linda come up. We're going to do the spin for the magnet, Skinwalker Ranch mixed with the radiation symbol magnet. And let's see if I can. Hey, there's.
Sorry.
Let's see. Do I have that? I have that picture somewhere. I don't know where I've got it, but it's. But anyway, we'll just go ahead. You guys saw it. Yeah, you saw the picture.
I do want to say that next week's giveaway is Jim McQuiston's Skinwalker, his book, Skinwalker. So Jim is donating one of his books. So be sure to sign up for that. That'll be great fun.
Yeah, it's a good read. I've got
it is a good read.
Am I allowed to sign up for these things?
Yeah. That's what I wanted to do.
I don't want to win by being while I'm co-hosting, but maybe when I'm, because I see it and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can join because
you are fine. All of the other co-hosts have signed up for things.
Yeah, I'm like, this stuff's cool.
Just not me.
No, you are not a co-host. You do not get to sign up for them.
I know. And, there was that one that we had last week, that little pin that was a coin that was turned into the Roswell alien face. That was so cool, man. I love that thing.
Yeah.
I know. Right. Now everybody's combing eBay and every place else they can think of trying to find one.
Yep. Yeah. Perfect fridge magnet for Arizona. That's Brenda Dixon saying that. Hey, Brenda, how you doing? All right. So let's do the spin and see who gets this bad boy.
Ready?
Yep, we are ready. All right. Oh, look at all those names going. I see a lot of familiar names. And Gail Richards. It almost landed on Jeanette. Gail Richards. And you must be present to win. So please let us know. And I do not have the feed going up right now for Facebook because my internet is so iffy that I didn't want to be streaming two different things. So if you are there, Gail, please let us know that you are here. And if you're on the Facebook side, please put your name out there because all it says is Facebook user. So please let us know.
Jan Anderson, you are on the Facebook side. Have you seen Gail?
I have the book and not reading it. James' book. Okay, so I'm not sure who that is. Please put your name on there, Facebook users, because I don't have it up. I can't tell who's saying stuff.
Sharon, I think.
Okay. Right. All right. So let us know.
Jan says no, Gail is not there.
Oh, okay. I've not seen her. Wanda says she hasn't seen her. All right. So we'll give her a little time to.
We're just going to give her like 30 more seconds because otherwise what I found out is that sometimes people are getting notified by a friend, hey, you need to hop on there real fast and say you're there.
Okay.
So either you're here or you're not here.
Right. And we'll spin again.
Yep. We can absolutely spin again because I'm afraid Gail is not here. Okay.
How do you sign up for the prizes? All right. I'll tell you in just a moment, Max. As soon as we're done with this spin here. It's going to be Gail again. Nope. Shirley Lee Brown. Wait. Oh, it says wait. Well, Gail Richards, I'm here.
Okay.
I did see her comment right just a split second before it settled on the next spin.
All right.
Gail, if you will get me your name and address in a private message on Messenger, I will get that in the mail to you.
And then how do we tell Max how to sign up for the prizes?
Max, you need to be in our Facebook group. You sign up in the group, and usually on Saturday morning, I put up the new one for the Skinwalker Ranch show. And there will be a post. This week it'll have a picture of Jim McQuiston's book in it. And you're going to comment yes underneath it. Mm-hmm. The Facebook group is the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond Skinwalker Ranch. And you have to be a group member to sign up because there's no way to sign up on YouTube. That's not a possibility. So I'll post the group and
the link for our group is down below in the description of the show. So just check it out. Just scroll down there. You'll see it. And you can bring it up from there. So
if you want to be considered, you need to come join the group and we'll get you taken care of.
Yeah.
All right, Gail, let me hear from you. Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Linda. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So, we are going to move on and jump over to back to the other folks that were out there doing the experiment. And right off the bat, I have Travis. Now, Travis and Caleb were getting ready to go over and fire off a rocket. So they had a rocket already on the launcher, getting ready to go. They're heading over there now. And I was really looking at, now I've got that little chest piece that he's wearing there to hold his GoPro, but I didn't know what that thing down below on the bottom was. I'm like, has he got some kind of other little weird testing device or something on there? I still don't know what that was, but I'm going to ask him on the next Q&A.
Yeah.
What he's got hanging, that little tube. It looks like a tube or something hanging on the bottom there. I grabbed that picture because I wanted to remember. So the next time they have a Q&A, I'm going to throw that question out there and ask them, what the heck was that thing?
Yeah, I have that strap too, and it doesn't come with that tube on the bottom.
No, mine doesn't either. And it looks like he's got like one of them little things with the two little balls that you flip one inside the other to hook them together to hold it, like a bungee cord, a little thingy. Yeah, Cat. Oh, that's an inside joke, Cat. We're not supposed to talk about that here. Oh, no. All right. Cat's out of the bag. Oh, yes, I did. By accident. As I was wearing my GoPro and I had it tilted down to look at my metal detector, every time I bent over to take in the ground, when I was reviewing it, it was recording my crotch.
I wonder how many other metal detectors have done that before.
I don't know. Probably none, because I'm the only idiot out there to do that kind of thing. But yeah, I was reviewing the footage later, and every time I bent over to dig in the ground, that's the camera was looking right there. Yeah, because I had it tilted just a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Kat. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. All right, you're booted out of Discord. Where's she at? All right, so those guys jump in the Jeep and there's Thomas in there with him for whatever reason. Awkward. Yes, indeed. And they're getting ready to shoot over there to take care of that. And there's the rocket they're going to shoot off. All right. And again, like we said, why are they shooting a rocket? To kick the hornet's nest. Right? Yeah, I know. And so here we go. This is the part where we get into this really cool stuff. Now Linda had mentioned, go ahead and show that video. And I'm going to do that because I wanted you guys to see what's supposed to happen, versus what did happen. And, let me get this set up here real quick first. So bear with me just a moment while I open all this up. And now I am going to be showing a clip from the guys, I forgot their name all of a sudden. Sky Elements YouTube. Yeah, thank you.
Sky Elements Drone Show.
Yes, Sky Elements Drone Show. This is their YouTube channel. And if you want to check any of these out, and you should go look at them because they're really, really cool. But the link is down below for their YouTube channel down in the description. You could just click on it, takes you right there. And they've got, how many do they have out there?
Their YouTube videos, they have like 70 on their website. They had a portfolio of like 20 really big events, stadiums, or events like this one you're about to show. But I know they've done private events too, based off of what they said on social media and stuff. So it's there. And they're also from Texas, Fort Worth, Dallas area. So a fellow Texan.
I try to move this out of the way. Yeah, this is really cool. All right, I'm going to roll this, and it's a minute and 35. It's a little longer than what I'm supposed to be showing stuff. But again, I am giving them full credit. And like I said, you can see the link on here. You can see the link below. Click on it. These guys got some great stuff. Now, this is what's supposed to happen. The reason I'm showing you this is because this shows the professionalism of these guys, this team. I say guys, this team, because there's women and men on it. This shows you what's supposed to happen and how good they are at what they do. Check this thing out. This is really awesome.
Yeah, so for this one, they set up 600 drones. That's so cool. Yeah, no wobbling there.
Wow. Now, isn't that cool? I mean, that's what happens when everything is working right and they don't have anomalies.
Yeah.
So I had to show that because you see what happened if you watch the show. You saw what happened on with their stuff, and we'll get to that as we go along here. But
yeah, when I went and looked up their YouTube right away, my mind was blown, and I thought, this is why they were saying the things they were saying of this has never happened before.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, you can't have you can't have those issues in front of crowds like that.
No, you can't. And they did not have, Max got it. They didn't have any rogues, or anything like that. But like I said, go check out their Facebook page if you want to see more. And if you want to have the Mario Brothers theme playing in your head for the rest of the night, you're welcome. I've had it playing in my head all day ever since I saw it earlier when Seth first shared that. So, all right. Yeah. All right. As we digress here on the show. All right. So that's what's supposed to happen. Now, they didn't have anything that elaborate set up. So you would think because of that, they would have less issues, right?
Now you understand why they seemed, I don't know if smug's the right word when they first got on the ranch, but they were confident.
Exactly. They were very confident. And something that, like I said, I mentioned this earlier, that Brandon was talking about them last night. Every one of the members that were in last night on the Insiders in the revelations of episode number 2 had mentioned these guys, because there's been some people out there that said, oh, maybe they programmed them to do what it did on the show. And the guys on the show said, absolutely not.
Yeah.
They were there.
Max in the comments said that must have been deflating for them. Absolutely. This was their chance to, or one of their, yeah, they're going to go shoot themselves in the foot like this. I don't think so.
No, I agree. All right. So there they are. They're getting them all. It's ready to go and lighting them up. And there they take off into the sky. And yes, they are a little bit out of alignment until they get to their starting position. They're on their way up to get to that 300-foot level and getting to their starting position, especially when they first launch, because sometimes they, they move a little bit. So they get up to where their spot. And so that's where you see them there. They're just getting off the ground, getting their alignment set up. And there they are once they're in the air and lined up. Now look at that formation. I mean, yes, you see a couple of little ones that are still jostling to get themselves into position right there. But I tell you what, that's pretty daggone good right there. And there it is up there. Look at that. I mean, that's.
Yeah, it was going good up until that 300-foot mark that they keep bringing up.
And then when they started to move over the area there. So I'm gonna read a little bit here. Sky Element does the final check on the drones, and Eric puts a GPS on the drones. Pete will scan with that ground. What did I call that? The ground radar, or the scan, the terrestrial laser scanner. And then also Erica's going to begin transmitting on the 1.6 gigahertz. Now, you all know that that's pretty crazy stuff too. So they're doing all these things not to cause an issue with the drones, but to try to, again, kick that hornet's nest, get something to show up and appear. So, and this is where things start to go awry a little bit. You already got one that's missing in that shot there. And then he said, yeah, they're all out of position. You see the screen right here that he's got. He's looking at, that's his communication with each and every one of the drones that's in the air. And he said, yeah, they're all out of position. So they're not responding. Then you got some that are dropping. You got one dropping out there. You got this one beginning to drop out right there. This one here is dropping out. They're all starting to get, you got one over here. Yeah, things are starting to happen as they get going there. And then, and Seth and I were kind of, talking about this one before the show started tonight, and they showed this, of course, on the promo for tonight's or Tuesday night's show, and of course it made us all think that there's some sort of anomaly up there pushing down on them and pushing them down or something, which we find out later that was not the case. But in a sense, it was being affected by an anomaly because the battery life.
Yeah, and that should only happen in extreme temperature, they said, not a nice evening on the ranch.
Yeah.
Which,
These
I mean,
guys,
I don't think any of us were surprised when we heard the batteries are draining.
Right. Yeah, I know. I was the same way. Of course they were, So they had these guys, and again, because of their experience with this stuff and their expertise, they know how long these batteries last. They know how long they can have them in the air. And for them to say the battery's drained way too fast, and when that happens, because they're getting low on battery, they know they need to return to home. And so that's what they're doing here. They're returning to home. Yeah, I was hoping that the sheet of drones would get sucked into the portal. Wouldn't that have been something? All of a sudden, they're all gone. That would have been pretty cool, Vesta. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So, I mean,
those guys wouldn't have liked it much, but.
So when they lost connection, it wasn't just, at first it was like one or two, and then it was all of them. To me, that was impressive. I wonder if it was like a cascade or if it was literally 1, 2, 3, and then boom, all of them at once.
It seemed like the latter, what you just said.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the way it seemed, because you got these three right here that are dropping out, and then all of a sudden the rest of them came. That's what it seemed like. And again, this is something that they were talking about last night. There's so much of this night. Actually, there was 2 nights. We didn't know that. Right. But there's so much of what was going on that we did not see because they just didn't make the cut in the edit for the show.
And that's a good point by Pete. So they landed because they got disconnected, and then the batteries getting drained. So it wasn't necessarily the batteries getting drained that caused them to land. It was the full disconnection. And then they also happened to notice batteries draining. Is that correct?
I thought the first one was battery drainage. They did get disconnected. Let's see here. Preston reports to Tyler that 3 drones disconnected, and then he reports that all 80 are disconnected. The drones start to drop. There you go. Tyler also explains the only time this has ever happened before is when they were working in extreme temperatures. Tyler then tells the team that the batteries in the drone seem to be draining faster than usual. So you're right. You guys were correct. Thank you. They decided to try again to see if the drones would behave the same way. They start the next flight and launch a rocket. So they get everything down on the ground. Once they get them all landed, here they are just about ready to land. And now they're getting ready to send them back up. And this time they're going to launch a rocket. And immediately after launching that rocket, they start getting them all acting weird. Remember when they were looking up at them with the camera and they were all like wiggling around a little bit? They were all like, all of them were wiggling. They weren't exactly sure where they were trying to reconnect and get themselves back into their spot they're supposed to be in. I wonder if the leaders are already detached, were also drained. Detached were also drained. If they are approximately a new control source. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure. That might be another good question for the team. I know there were so many people asking them questions last night. It was hard to keep up with it all, but yeah, you can see by looking at this picture, and even Travis and them saw it from the other side. I mean, they're watching it from a distance a little bit over where the rocket was, and they could see this happening. And how they were starting. There was a whole line of them in the middle, and this all happened because they're moving. They got them in that formation, and then they're slowly moving over the triangle. And when they get over the triangle, that's when everything starts to happen. It didn't happen immediately. It was all happening once they got over the triangle.
Yeah. They, if I understand correctly, they were behaving pretty normally everywhere else, but these two spots.
Yep. And I just captured some more pictures of these. You can see, obviously, this one dropped out. There's another one that's missing from here. This one right here is actually right there. It actually dropped out of its place. The one on the corner that's supposed to be up here is gone.
And that's I wonder if that's one of the ones that had one of Eric's GPS units on it.
Yeah, he said the four corners, so I mean, you would assume that's correct. Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, it's strange things are already happening, and again, it didn't happen until they moved over to the right over top of where the I didn't get the need for the rocket. The rocket was used to poke the hornet's nest.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I know I'm in Bigfoot company here. It reminds me of when on Expedition Bigfoot they play Bigfoot sounds, and I'm thinking, you don't know what those Bigfoot are saying. Why are you playing that? Like with the 1.6 gigahertz and the rockets, but it's exactly what you said. Travis he just wants to get a response.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Ron. That is one of Eric's drones.
Oh yeah, that corner one, yeah. But yeah, you're exactly right. That's something to spur activity. And somebody had mentioned, I wonder what would happen if they didn't kick the hornet's nest, if they would have just sat back and just waited. That's another good question that maybe we should ask them and find out. Because I don't know if they hadn't done anything, would they have all been perfectly fine? I don't know. I almost want to believe no, they wouldn't. Because something's still going to happen, but it seems like they get more than. Was it Barbara? A good question. See, the wind factor was considered. Yes, the wind was considered absolutely.
Yeah, it was.
You got a point on that, Seth.
Yeah, from what they said, it wasn't windy. It wasn't a windy night, and these things can actually withstand a typical threshold of 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts. So. They from their website, the only thing these things can't really, their Achilles heel is light rain.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that would make sense.
Yeah, but they can fly in moderate to high winds, according to them. And I mean, if you've been camping and you get a 20 mile per hour wind gust, that's pretty substantial.
Yeah, it truly is. Yeah, it truly is. All right, so now. They decide to move over to the east field, what they call the east field. And then they set up again. Thomas says that they're almost directly under the anomaly that showed up on Pete's photogrammetry scan 1 year ago. And that's what this next picture is.
And how, that's what, 300 feet, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's interesting that the 300 feet here, as well as the triangle anomaly, is starting to experience things at 300 feet.
Exactly. Now, this picture here was the one from last week. Now, the first one is the photogrammetry that Pete Kelsey had captured a year ago. And that's right over the east field. This picture is the two combined together, what he got last week when he was doing the SLAM scan from the helicopter. And they got that red point at the top of the 300 feet, and then some of the ground clutter down here on the ground. And that was that same anomaly, basically in the same exact area. According to what they were saying.
The helicopter started experiencing GPS and issues at 300 feet.
Yep. And the wind, it wasn't wind gust. It was actually being pushed around.
Yeah, like a magnet, push and pull.
Yeah, something like that. And they did mention the vortex of wind that they would get in certain areas. And they were warning these guys about that when they first got there, and they were talking over by the command center. They were warning them about this wind that circles around and can really come up out of nowhere. Jan, in her synopsis here, she had a comment about that too, and I missed it somewhere along the way. But anyway, they were talking about that very thing, about the wind and how it can all of a sudden just be in that one spot can start acting weird.
Yeah. And Tim said 300 feet seems a lot lower than last year. They actually addressed that in the first episode where they questioned, I think Eric maybe was one that said, this 300 feet thing is new. And him and Travis were like, is it occupying that full space from 300 to 5,000 feet, or is it moving?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. But again, you look at this in all these different ways, the photogrammetry, the LiDAR scan. And as we go further with tonight's, or we're talking about Tuesday night's episode, they're getting yet a third thing showing something in that spot. Now, repeatable. You've heard a lot of people talk about that. You talk about doing the scientific experiments time and time again, and if you keep getting the same results, then that pretty much tells you that there's something happening. So there's a third thing, and we'll get to that here in just a few moments. But this area is certainly something's going on there. So they put the two over top of each other, and then you get this here. They derive the altitude from calculating trajectories based on ground readings. This was the first time that they tested the volume of the anomaly. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's why I love the chat, man. I mean, an interesting concept, a moving portal, Vesta says. Yeah, indeed. That's what kind of Seth was talking about before we started tonight. A portal of some sort or something. I don't know. I don't think it's a solid object.
No, I think things can move through it. Maybe I don't.
Or the helicopter would have been banging into it. Or,
yeah. I don't know. I'm not a scientific minded person, but it seems to be they're leading us to the portal thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When they got set up over in this particular area, as soon as they got them all turned on, one of them took off.
Yeah, this was weird. I joked with you before the show. If a drinking game where you would have to drink a lot would be to drink every time they said that's never happened before. Don't. And that one programmed to go to the center.
Yeah, it was one of the center ones. I don't know if it was the exact center, but it was one of the center ones. Yes. But it went up there and it got into its position. And then the rest of them came up to it. It was kind of funny. And I didn't have that captured, that little clip. But the one went up there. And then you see the whole other group of them coming up. And it's got the hole where the one is missing. And then it comes up and it fits itself right into spot. So it knew where to be. And its GPS coordinate. And it was there. And it was just waiting. Hey, come on, guys. Come on, get up here.
And so, okay, you mentioned something that I'm not privy to because I didn't watch the revelations yet. You said this was a separate night from the other?
Yeah, they said this actually took place over 2 nights.
Oh, okay. So these would be fully charged new or fresh drones then, right?
Yeah.
We're not operating with the same drained batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So you see the holes in this thing right here, and already there's issues. I mean, it's and again, it happened when they moved. Now they talked about losing communication, and then they talked about how when it moved off of the area, the communication came back, and all of them reposition. Remember when they were all wiggling around and doing that kind of in this spot also?
Yeah.
And when the whole grid moved itself away from the field area, the anomaly area, they all got communication again, and they all lined up perfectly once again. That was something that was very notable. You had to make sure that was noted. So, yeah, when Travis, when he launches the rocket and the drone formation looks good for a few seconds, the drone in the middle starts to wiggle, even though it was hardly any wind at all. Caleb notices an object hovering over the launch site. When the others notice it, the object changes direction and moves up into the clouds.
Wait, there was a UAP?
Yes, indeed, there was. Now, I didn't get a picture of it because and everybody saw it. Everybody saw the UAP. It was there.
Yeah.
And Caleb was shining his light so that everybody could kind of look at the beam and know where to look. And they all saw it. Even the guys from the team, from the Sky Elements team saw it as well.
I wish the camera people would have seen it a little bit better.
Yeah, I guess Travis said he did catch it with his cell phone camera, and there was a few pictures of it, but it was moving around. That's why I didn't bother. It looked like a light to us, a light in the sky.
Yeah, I believe them when they reacted that way. And also, who noticed it first?
Caleb, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You said not Caleb earlier.
I feel like there's something to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is where they're all gathering and talking about this right here. So they brought it up. They reconnected. Everything was fine once they moved over the spot, and then they saw the UAP. They said the UAP was there. It was kind of moving around slowly from what Travis said. And they also said it was not one of the drones because it did not make that sound. They did not hear it like that. The drones are very loud. They said you can certainly hear them and you know exactly what they are.
Mm-hmm.
He said this did not make any sound. It was moving around slowly. It was coming downward, and then it stopped. It hovered, and then it went up and went into the cloud. And that's when one of the guys said, yeah, it went into the cloud. It never came out. And then Travis, said, yes, it never came out of the cloud. And they never saw it again after that point. However, when they did meet they got together and they were talking about it here and they were wrapping up for the night. Yes, very good point, SMS. Yeah, Caleb is a law enforcement officer, and he knows he's a paid observer. That's what they do. So, yeah, he was looking around. So 2 days later, and again, I captured this picture because I just thought it was cool with the sunburst. They meet over at the Skinwalker Ranch Command Center to kind of gather and put all their data, Hoosier data, together.
I mean, when you think about how every drone is its own GPS operating and the timing of kind of when these things happen, there is a lot for them to go through, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Plus, you got Pete Kelsey's stuff, too.
Oh, we haven't even gotten there.
Yes. Yeah, we got Pete Kelsey's information. So here they are starting to gather all the data together in the command center.
144.
Yep. And you got the guys in here, and you got Pete on the TV screen there, back at his home. There he is there. And we like Pete, man. Pete's an awesome guy. He really, truly is. I've had him on twice now, and he's just so fascinated to listen to his stories and his expertise about things. Really, really good. And so they started looking at his data. Now everybody was like, well, what's that streak right there? Well, that's the rocket, one of the rockets that they shot off.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually his infrared terrestrial laser scanner actually picked up the rocket launch, which I thought was pretty cool. But it did get something else too. And this is what it is right here. So you see the rocket launch. That's the rocket launch is this part right here. All right. But what is that? That is the UAP. They put this all together. They were looking at it from different directions and all kinds of different things that they had going on, cameras and whatnot. And they determined that that was the UAP that they saw because it's in the right position. Now, something that we heard last night, and all of you that are insiders will know what EN03 is and where it is. That is one of the cameras that we watch when we are watching the live stream of the cameras that are on Skinwalker Ranch. And he said it was right over EN03. You know, folks, I wish I could tell you everything that I was a little, I did get permission, but I wish I could tell you everything that was revealed in the revelations last night, because there was a lot. I can't, unfortunately. I just can't. You have to become a member of the insiders and find out what all was said. And I know that Seth is now thinking, man, I can't wait to go back and watch this, because there was a lot of information that was given out. And that was one of them. And I got one more little tidbit that I'm going to share, which goes back to what I was talking about with my intro in the time machine. This was a little thought that came up last night that I wanted to bring up. Anyway, yeah, it was 3 hours long. Barbara said 3 hours. It was. I couldn't stay up, Barbara. I had to get up and work this morning. I could not. It was. I got about 11:20, and I'm like, okay, I got to go to bed. That was it for me. But that right there is the UAP, folks. That they also captured it. Not only did they see it, and they captured it on a camera, which even though it was wiggling around, or it was the camera wiggling around, but they did. Yeah, Max said I had to go to bed. I did. I had to go. I had to get out of there. But they did capture it on Pete's laser scanner. Again, there's the rocket, but you see that right up here on top. That's the anomaly. That's the UAP. And you see down here, these are the drones at 300 feet. So you see this, here I can zoom that in a little bit. So you see the pattern of the drones down there. So you can see that pretty clearly. That's the rocket that they launched. And that's the anomaly. I think it's this one right here is the anomaly.
Yeah, in the last photo, there were 2 dots that some people are asking what those are.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but they were saying that this one was the anomaly. So yeah. I'm not sure. No, I'm take it back. It was, they were talking last night saying it was the highest one. So it would be this one. Sorry about that. It's this one up here on the top.
Cool.
Yeah. Now, Travis had taken a picture of it with his cell phone. And he got a good look at this thing. And he was looking, this is his picture with the cell phone on this side. Now, if you see that, now he kind of put together what he thought it would look like if it wasn't all misty. And because you can clearly see this line running around here, and then you see this dot on the side. So this is his rendition of it right here, which I thought was pretty cool. That's what he figures it looks like.
Well, he's seen it before, he said.
Yeah.
He said an F-18 pilot took a picture of it with their cell phone.
Right. This is the one that the F-18 pilot took a picture of right here.
Ooh. So I can kind of see it there if I'm... Okay, yeah. Now okay.
It's not exact match.
Is there some sort of... Did he go into detail on why he thought it was nuts and bolts? He said this thing is nuts and bolts.
He did, but I was trying
physical. Sorry if I'm skipping ahead.
Yeah, Travis then says that he took a. Let's see. Eric puts the picture on the information they got from the drone maneuvers, and all 4 drones. Okay, no, no, I don't. He did, but I don't recall exactly what he said.
Yeah. They needed better cameras.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, I might have to revisit that and check it out again. Didn't he see something like this outside of the trailer? Yeah, I'm not sure if that was the same type of thing. That was more of an orange. I thought they said that was an orange, like a square. You mean, are you talking about the one where him and Caleb went running into the, trying to track it? Is that the one you're talking about? One guy online. Because I remember they saw something and they said it was like an orange cube or orange rectangle, and they went bolting into this was at nighttime, and they went bolting off to try to capture it. Is that the one you're talking about? And I thought that was like an orange rectangle or an orange square light that they saw that night, but you might be right. Yeah. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Oh, this was it. Yeah. Okay. I know which one you're talking about now. This was a UAP that they did see, and they did. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I had forgotten all about that. It was, and I forget I think that was season 2. They did see a cloudish, like a little fuzz ball, whatever you want to call this, cotton ball type UAP. And there was a line in it. I remember them talking about it having a line in it. Oh my gosh, now I'm going to have to go find that. It's going to kill me until I get it out in my pictures.
SM Pirate kind of answered my musing earlier where I was like, what makes them think it's nuts and bolts? He said it has a consistent shape with embedded unmoving features.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Thank you, SM Pirate.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he said. Yeah.
I learned so much from you guys. Like Jeff says all the time.
The chat is awesome.
Yeah.
Really strange story. I was watching a show today called Forbidden Archaeology. A man found a round ball older than anything found, and it looked exactly like Travis's picture. Wanda. Thank you, Wanda. That's very interesting. So it was called Forbidden Archaeology. I think Forbidden Archaeology. I'm going to write that down because I want to go check that out.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's
all right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go check that out. I'm gonna have to see that for myself. That's pretty interesting. Now, what they had done is they went in this meeting. They went and gathered up the information that are from the GPS coordinates. As they were, and this, you see so many, and there was really only about 4, I think. I don't know, and I was a little off of whether or not he wasn't capturing all of them. I thought it was just the 4 corners, but obviously they moved up, and then they moved over, and then they came back, or something like that. The formation went up, and then it moved, and then it came back. It was moving around a little bit, but you see how uniform that looks. Squared corners, very uniform, very clean. Here's a side view of it. Looks very, it's a little messy, but not too bad.
Everything where it should be elevation wise.
Exactly. And this is over the triangle area. This particular data.
This one's a triangle. This isn't the east field.
Yeah, this is the triangle.
Okay.
And so that's the triangle data. And this one is over the east field. It's a mess. Look at that. I mean, it's a mess. And if this is the 4 corners, this is a real mess. And the biggest thing that I get from this too, not only is it a mess, and you guys know when they were dropping the bottles out of the helicopter last year, remember how the bottles were, the tracking on them was all messed up, and some of them were being shown under the mesa.
That was the first thing I thought of.
Now, how does a GPS coordinate, a GPS tracking device, show up under the mesa? And a long way under the mesa.
Yeah, and not just one of them, multiple ones over different years, using different methods, dropping from the sky or flying up from the ground.
Remember the airplane? Remember the little airplane that Eric was in, and he had all of his equipment taped on the windows, and he was holding different stuff? It showed them having flown like 300 feet under the mesa.
Yeah, the pilot, she shared her data, which showed the same thing too.
Yes. Yes.
And Tim, I think you're right. They did put Eric put his GPS trackers on the four corners.
Yeah. Yes.
And as they move and rotate, I imagine we see kind of
up,
they
move
report.
around. Yeah. Yeah. That's why it doesn't stay stationary in one spot. You only see 4 dots or whatever, them going up because they did move. Yeah. So as far as I know, and far as what they were talking about, these were just Eric's data, and this one's a mess. I mean, it's absolutely a mess. And the data with underground, this right here is what really blows me away.
If I understand, nobody provided any sort of explanation for what's going on here.
Again, the drinking game. I've never seen that before. Here's the two put together. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You were right. I was backwards. Whoop.
Okay.
The triangle data versus the east field. The east field was the one that was straight. I'm sorry. My bad. The east field was the one that was pretty good. The triangle one is the one that was all jacked up.
And
that's crazy.
And the shape, yeah.
And the shape. But the triangle is the one that generally gives them the underground stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The anomaly, the tower photogrammetry anomaly is actually over the east field.
East field.
Yeah.
Okay.
The east field is what they expected. The triangle was a total mess above and below the ground. Yeah, exactly right, Linda. Yeah, my bad on that. I'm sorry. I got a little mixed up there, but yeah, there you go. And something that Travis noticed about it when he was looking at it, he goes, this is kind of weird. He was looking at this data right here, and this is the underground stuff. This is what's underground. That's your ground level. These little white lines that are showing up here, that's the ground level. So this is what's down there. And again, and this is what Travis noticed.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Did they say anything about the depth? Because wasn't last season when they looked at those GPS units that went under the ground, it was the same amount of distance between us and how far up the atmosphere goes before it turns into space? I wonder if these went the same amount underground.
67 miles.
Something.
I think it is.
63?
67 miles before you actually achieve what's considered space.
Yeah. And if I remember, the previous GPS units that were shown underground on an experiment were that. And yes, Travis goes, huh.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It was. Yeah.
And
I don't know if they said.
And then in the comments, like everybody's talking about the portals and the shape it would take and what we're looking at now. It's just.
Yeah, let me see here. I don't know if they said. Eric, we need you on the show. Eric, I mean, we've talked to Eric. We're working on it. He's coming. 67.3 miles is what Robert said. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that.
I wonder if there's any. I don't think they told us how.
Now I'm looking at the notes that Jan did, and there's nothing in here saying how far underground it went.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't think. I only just now even thought of it. I mean, in terms of that 63 miles.
But you see the red right here. This is outlined in red. And this is what Travis was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
This outline right here. I did that pretty good with that. I'm pretty freehand with that. I'm getting better. Anyway, Travis said, boy, it kind of looks like a portal to me. The opening on both ends of a portal. The opening on the top and the opening on the bottom. I don't know. I mean, he just made that observation. Yeah. Yeah, I am too, Miriam. I'm really curious. Travis showed light bulbs on the ground lighting up, wireless current passing through them. Yes, he did. Lights are not passive or negative polarity, but there is a negative polarity which drains batteries. Yeah, I remember they did that experiment. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That was over by Homestead too. They did that. JFree906.
Kat is on a roll tonight.
Oh, Kat's pretty. Yeah, she is. But yeah, so yeah, that's what Travis made that observation that it seemed to him like it was some sort of a portal.
Jerry says it reminds him of a petroglyph in the area.
Ooh. Time bottle.
A time bottle, yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, so that was kind of a neat observation. Okay, now, and this was all just the GPS data that they were looking at. Now comes the really fun part, and that is the data that was taken and captured by Pete Kelsey and his terrestrial laser scanner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is what truly blows my mind. I mean, the data, the GPS data showing them being underground underneath the mesa. If that doesn't blow your mind enough right there, now we're going to get into this. Okay, now this is the data from the scanner that was going on that Pete had gone. Okay, now I want you to pay close attention to this area right here. This whole area going along here is the mesa. And this is from the east field, if I remember correctly. You see that area that's right here that's missing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the part that blows my mind away right here. And here's another shot of it, a little closer up. And then here's a picture of it looking down at it from over top. Okay, there seems to be a swath missing there. Now, the way they describe this is they're like, where's that data? Why is that data gone? It's over here. It's way over here, like a mile away. I mean, or whatever. It's a long way away. It's at the edge of the scanning capability of the unit.
Yeah. Did they give you any insight? I agree with Barbara. I thought it looked like a shadow. So like maybe something I can't see projecting a shadow, the scanner
Blocking
hits, blocks it. But from what you're saying, it seems like it didn't get blocked. It got moved, just pushed.
Yeah.
Forgive me, guys. I'm not a
No, you're right. And why it put it someplace else. The same thing was with the photogrammetry. It had taken those pictures. Those were actual. That tower you see standing up is actual photographs. Those little pictures that it takes, all of them, and it just put them in this weird position. For what reason, we have no idea. Something, and this is something I said to Pete when we were talking with him last week. It was a malfunction of the equipment, but a malfunction that produced something very anomalous. Why would it malfunction in that particular way? We don't know. Now, they called this a shadow, but if you think of a shadow, what does a shadow do? It blocks the sunlight shining from one point. Here you got something standing in between the sunlight or the scanner, and the shadow is cast on the ground on the other side of whatever's blocking it. Now, what they were alluding to, and again, talking about this, almost as though it's cloaked. So what they were alluding to last night, talking about this, was it casting a shadow. What was casting a shadow? Well, if they put that together, which they did not do in the show last night or Tuesday night, but you take that anomaly that's standing 300 feet in the east field, and if it were something that were standing there, it would be blocking the scanner, the laser scanner, the terrestrial laser scanner. It would be blocking it, and therefore casting a shadow on the mesa on the other side of it. That's what they were kind of alluding to. And if any of the guys are watching right now and I'm not doing a good job of explaining this, please tell me and we'll try to correct it. But as far as I gathered from what they said, and what in the notes, and I should probably read Jan's notes to make sure that I've got this correct. Let's see. Let's see. Travis, next. Oh, here it is. Next, they have Pete pull out the data from the terrestrial laser scanner and points out something strange. There is a area of no data. Pete then shows them a straight down view where the data is missing. And then he points out that the data is over to the left, out of range of the scanner. Pete overlaid the info onto Google Earth, and the missing data lines up with the top of the mesa. Travis asks, what could cause this? And Pete said he has no explanation. I don't know. Now, there is another picture, and it's this one here. And again, you see that shadow is right here. That's it right here. Whoops. That's the shadow. And here's the data way over there. Part of it, anyway. That's from the Google Earth view. Yeah. So, Travis asked what could cause this. Pete said he has no explanation. Travis wants to get a high-speed camera so that they can get hundreds of thousands of frames to look at. The team wants to continue working on the mesa and by possibly doing some underground penetration, ground penetrating radar scans. I mean, this is what I was talking about when I mentioned, 3 different means by which to, Yes, that's a very good point. The scan several months ago, it was actually last year, I guess, or whatever. Yeah, it was part of the insider stuff. I think they were talking about that too. That the scan, there was the slam scanner, the handheld, wasn't showing the cow that was underneath the tree. It would show the tree, but it didn't show the cow that was underneath the tree. That was pretty interesting. Yeah. So, again, how does this happen? I don't know. Something was blocking the scan. Now, why didn't it block it all over the place? Why just in that one area? I don't know. But you can see the data is some of it's up there, but this big shadow area right there.
I appreciate that nobody wildly speculates like I do, but I wish sometimes I could just hear their craziest theories on what they think this is.
Yeah, I know. Everybody knows I never speculate, right? So yeah, I'm always speculating. I do that a lot. That's one of my things is to speculate a lot. But I'm telling you, let's see, Jen, thank you. I really do appreciate the time it takes to summarize like this. I did it for teaching. Yeah, Jen. I mean, she does a great job with the synopsises, and we are very grateful. One cannot wear metal objects during MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, much like a 3D LiDAR scan. This is our may have football field. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just weird stuff. I mean, how do you explain something like that? But again, I go back to the 3. Now you've got the photogrammetry, you've got the LiDAR scans, and now you've got this terrestrial laser scanner all picking up something blocking or some anomaly that may be standing up there that is not visible to the naked eye or can be touched. I don't know. Really interesting. One of the things that I wanted to share last night, they were talking about, and this is one last little thing. This is why I had the time machine on there. Remember that they were talking about, and this, if you think about this, really think about what I'm about to tell you, and see if you can wrap your brain around it. Okay, we talk about the battery drain. Oh, the battery's drained so fast. And there's been other things like the battery drain that happens in a very short period of time. Okay, what if, and I know this is reaching out there, I realize I'm making a giant leap here, but what if where the batteries were at that given moment was the time was different? Time was speeding up.
Ooh.
So instead of the batteries draining quickly, the location where the batteries were, time was moving at a different speed, than everywhere else.
I like that. I mean, missing time is a huge component of people's experiences.
Yes.
And I've seen a few. Haven't there been a few glitches in the insiders on the live stream of some missing time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like that theory.
Wrap your brain around that for a minute and think about that. Just everybody kind of think about that and talk about it later or something, or whatever. But what if, time is different? It's moving a little faster, and that's why the batteries drain so quickly. I don't know. Time lapse. See, Wendy was thinking about it. There was a movie where that happened. Maybe that's why the data was misplaced.
Yep.
There you go, Max. Is it possible? Yeah, why not? I mean, how else can you? I mean, you look at this stuff here, and it's just there's no real explanation for it.
And this is where they drilled, right? This is where they were getting the metallic bits of metal that are machined, they say.
I don't know that for a fact.
Layered, we don't know if that's where they drilled.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I know that it was a very rocky place. There was a lot of big boulders, like it looked like it was a cave-in area or something. I think that's where they were doing the drilling, but I don't know if that's where this is. I'm not sure.
Okay, and I'm remembering too the cave last year when they were doing the smoke and air. They were getting cool air. Something's in the mesa.
I'm gonna leave you with that one to think about.
And they have towers that we can't see, and they got a wormhole, and I don't even know who they are. or what it is. And
yes, if it can be as big as they seem to think, it seems like oddities would be bigger. Seth, if this could be the connection point between UFO buried and communication point, yes, there is.
Yeah, well, Travis has speculated that, maybe there's a ship and it's like trying to communicate. Is anybody out there? And we kind of perceive it as weird stuff. Yeah, really smart people have talked about the possibility of there being a ship. So there could be. And then if you go, I mean, a lot of people who say that the craft we have recovered came from archaeological sites and digs. So, and to me, I mean, I know Travis has the connection with the Pentagon and Department of Defense, and that's cool. But why are military Blackhawks flying around? That I don't get.
Yeah.
What if this is and it's just going to get crazier apparently.
Yes, it is. But yeah, I tell you, some of the stuff that they were talking about last night. Folks, honestly, and again, here I go promoting Insider Program again, but I'm not even sharing with you even a half of the things that they brought up last night, and I won't. But I tell you, it's one of those. That's the brain power that's going on during these sessions. For them, it's going on all the time, and so many of the insiders. It's not just the team, Caleb and Dragon and Thomas and Eric and Travis. It's not just them and Brandon. It's also the brain power that we have in the insiders group. That
Robert Davies, who you had with me.
Oh yeah, I mean
the stuff he's taught and shared. He shared recently a lot of the videos I hadn't seen that he's been able to catch. Cool.
Yeah, sitting in the Discord channel. Sometimes they got one in there that's called let me look real quick. There's different rooms. One's called Science and Technical, and Daisy and Heather and I Am Joy and Karen and Christy and Ron and all those folks that are sitting in there, they talk about some of this stuff, and it's like, I mean, the brain power that we have, and this is why the guys love it. And you'll hear Eric when we get him on the show. You'll hear Eric talk about this.
Eric is amazing. How long he will talk to people. I'm really impressed. I'll go to bed. I'll fall asleep listening to him and wake up, and he's still going, talking, bouncing ideas off people.
Yeah. I don't know what keeps that guy fueled, but yeah, he can go an awful long time talking about, because this stuff is his passion. I mean, it truly is. He's very passionate about all of this tech and the analysis of things, and he could talk about it, go and go and go. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I'm thankful for it so much. As you may have suspected, everybody, I'm an easy sell on these things. I get emotionally involved right away. I want to believe. I saw this red dot the other night in the sky. It was evening time, and thanks to the insiders, I knew, well, let me pull up my flight traffic. Let me look and see if there's satellite. And I was able to see a flight, and I realized it was flying west, and the sun at that time was catching it and making it look like a red kind of orb. But yeah, before the insiders, I probably would have seen that and gone, oh my God, I saw UAP.
Yeah.
So they ground me for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There was a couple times where I thought I saw something really cool and it wasn't. They go, oh no, let's take a closer look. And oh, look, Jeff, you can see that it's this. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I was a little deflated, but you know what? It's okay, because like you just said, they ground you. And then they allow you to take a look at it with different eyes, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes total sense. You're right. Yeah, I see it now. So exactly. It's just a wonderful group of people that is just, I learn stuff every single time I'm hanging out in there with them. I'm learning something new that I didn't know before. And that's one of the truly great benefits to me. And sorry, I'm not going to stop talking about the insider group. All right. So later on for next week, remember how they're talking about doing the ground penetrating radar and stuff they're doing on the Mesa? They want to look what's underneath. I guess we're going to something's going on right here. We've seen this on Oak Island before, where they had a guy wearing a backpack that was doing, so he's dragging some stuff behind him that's doing some sort of scan there.
Is that a rock next to him?
Yeah, there's a rock right here.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that was equipment, but that's
yeah. But it looks like he's dragging something along behind him that must be doing some sort of radar. I don't know. It's doing some sort of scanning, it looks like. And here's, and it looks like might be the track that he took here.
We've seen stuff like this on the Beyond Oak Island episodes where they go, and this is so cool.
Yeah. So, so I captured these from next week's show just to kind of get a little tease of what's going on. But, so there you go. Neat stuff for next week.
And I know earlier we were saying, why the rockets? Seems like they're going to finally get a really cool response from firing these rockets up.
Yeah, that's one right there, launching away.
Yeah, there was a lot of excitement over this trailer.
Yeah, and they show this. This is what and you can't really tell, but that's shooting a rocket off, and you see what's that?
They're pointing at something.
I can't wait for next show. Yeah, and if this is the one that Caleb was talking about, we're gonna see something really cool. I got a feeling. So so all right, folks. I tell you what, that's it for me tonight, and another great episode. I every time I watch these, I just get blown away by the information and the tech and the data that these guys are coming up with. And like I said, if you all buckled up and ready to go, man, good stuff. And we're going to continue talking about it. So we'll be here again next week. I am packing up tonight and tomorrow, and I'm heading out. I'll be at the location in Michigan next week. Well, actually, for a while. I'm going to be up there for a while. I got some things to do, but we are going to continue on. We're going to continue on with Oak Island, the Curse of Oak Island episodes on Wednesday night, 7:30, and then we're going to do Skinwalker Ranch on Friday nights at 7:30. We're just going to keep we're going to keep the Skinwalker Ranches on Friday nights. We have to now. I don't want to get jumping around and people will lose track of what night we're doing what. So we will fill the Wednesday nights with something else when we get to the season finale of Curse of Oak Island. And also, we're going to be doing more Bigfoot stuff. I've got people, more actual experiencers, and some people, Tim and Wynette Turner, are going to come on. We're going to have them maybe next week. I'm working with them right now to see if they want to come on next week and talk about, they've got a group down in Florida, Bigfoot research group down in Florida, that I'm going to have them come on and talk with us. Yeah, we're going to continue on with that stuff. And then when season 4 of Expedition Bigfoot comes out, we're going to be talking about those episodes. So we got a lot of stuff planned for this summer. I've got a lot of expeditions we're working on. We're going to be going out with a lot of different tech and doing some investigations of our own. So, yes, thank you. Linda brought that up right there. We will have guests from theorists like Corian. We got to have Carmen Legg back on. The guys, we're talking to several of them right now. We had to wait until the season was wrapping up because they can't tell you about things until it's aired. But then now, once it's aired, they can really dig and give us more info. So that's what that's why we kind of wait until, thank you. Whoever said that, I don't know who that is, but thank you. Safe travels indeed. So, but yeah, we'll be having all kinds of folks coming on, people from Oak Island and theorists from Oak Island, and Jim McQuiston. He's going to be coming on. We're going to have him on again to talk about his new book and stuff. So yeah, a lot of stuff lined up for the next several months. We're not going to let you down on good stuff happening. So, all right. Thanks again, Seth, man. You were awesome. And once again, great input and all that tonight. You got quite a few shout outs tonight from different people. So
yeah, happy to be here as always. And I love taking part in these discussions. I've done it for so long on the chat, so it's fun to be on this side of it with you.
Yeah, exactly. Love having you on the show. Appreciate it very, very much. Linda, thank you so much for what you're doing, working the chat. And Jan, as always, thank you for these awesome synopsises you do. I tell you, honestly, this helps so much. It really, truly does. And Linda, what she's doing helps so much because I just can't keep up with all the chat. Anyway, thank you, folks, for being here with us tonight. I got something I forgot. Oh, I don't want to forget to play it. So we'll catch you here next time. We'll be here Wednesday night for the Curse of Oak Island. Again, thanks a lot, folks, for being here. We'll catch you next time. Good night.